Can you and Kate actually talk a little bit about like what it's like doing so many characters in one show? I feel like that's something that people would be jazzed about.
Yeah, you get to start.
Oh, okay, I get to start. Yeah, it's interesting. The costuming is really incredibly helpful. And I think sort of everybody can understand, it's like when you put on a nice sweater, it's like you feel one way, and when you put on your paint-stained t-shirt, you feel another way. So the costumes are really, really helpful, just in terms of inducing in myself the psychology of the characters. And it took a while in the beginning, once we added the full costumes and the wigs and everything, in terms of changing and then rushing back downstage, because we change upstage, and then rushing back downstage, and sort of calming down. It's like, my earrings and and then sort of finding a way to enter into the play, leaving the slight adrenaline rush of being up in the dressing room. And then I also, I thought our director was really great in terms of, for me, when I'm doing things like this, I have to be really, I have to encourage myself to be unafraid of being bad. And you guys can be the judge of that, just don't tell me. But in terms of rehearsal, just being really sort of saying, I'm just gonna just do really big, colorful things and see, and some of them will be good and some of them will be bad, but I'm not gonna judge it. And for me, the director was very helpful in letting me be very playful in it, which for me is important.
This is a kind of a first time for me to play a central leading lady type character all the way through and not play the role that Kate's playing, yeah. I speak for us collectively in saying this is a very delicate play to play, and the energy and what you ask from us and what you give to us. I mean, all plays, in my never humble opinion, are about love or death, or love and death, and we're having this conversation or this experience together. We meaning everybody on stage and all of you. And this play, I feel, is particularly delicate in terms of its rhythms. And you know, I don't know if you know this, but a play is usually exactly this, a performance is usually exactly the same number of minutes every night. And so if we miss, we're down a minute or up a minute or two, we're like, oh, what happened? You know, what's off, or what was new tonight with the audience? So I think it's a very delicate thing.
Yeah, and I think with this play in particular, the way that Gurney has shaped it, there's a lot of, because these characters explode in and interrupt the narrative that's happening here, and if those scenes take too long, by the time we get back to Austin and Ruth, we're like, oh, where were we? And if it's too quick, it feels like they're just running in and out. And so it's having that really delicate balance as well.
Well, I was listening to the Ted and Esther scene tonight when I'm off stage, and it seemed to me, I got for the first time that there's all this information that we find out about Ruth there that's really important. It needs to slow down, and we need to get a sense that there's, wait a minute, there's something a lot deeper going on. That we don't get a sense that the play is going to go in that direction until then. And of course, Austin isn't privy to that. And so it's taking a risk to go to a deeper, slower place and then come out of it and then see where we go after that. So for me, the rhythm is very interesting and moves in a way that a piece of music might. Well, for me, a lot of it has to do with class. And I happened to grow up with a lot of people like Austin. And so for me, it was kind of an excruciating process to keep that mask locked into place. And there was actually some tension between me and the director about how often could I let that mask slip. And she wanted it to be pretty much consistent. And so the moments that it does, like at the end or with the Prozac moment, those moments are very important to me. And when I come off, I'm often in physical pain because physically I'm sort of locked into this, thing. So it's actually great for me to hear that
And I would also say Ruth and Austin, I feel both, like in this talk that we're having about having like a veneer, or I think that Ruth very much is trying to keep some of those things that she reveals to Ted and Esther. Those aren't things that she talks about all the time, I feel. Those are things that she keeps locked away and that she doesn't always want to bring up, but are very true to her. And very true to Austin with his talk about all of the pressures that he feels. I think that we are seeing these two people at a moment of a breaking point of the like veneer that we put out to other people. And I think that's really interesting to watch erode and reform.
A great challenge to do, Jimmy, and feel like you've got to start the crazy energy for all the visitors, knowing that you've got something really so beautiful to play at the end of the piece. You don't want to give it away, so you try to just focus on what's in front. What did the playwright give you for that first scene? Because if you think about the end, you don't want to give anything away, I guess is the point, and it's so beautiful. So anyway, a real joy to do the Gurney play in the first place and have the opportunity to do so many parts and bring those energies into the piece. A lot of fun.